Hello Dreamweaver class, I'd like to just give you the first of many tutorials. Now again, these are the ones I'm creating myself where you can see my screen, see Dreamweaver. If you want more material, you've got your book that I'll be assigning chapters, and then also I can recommend other sites like lynda.com, some of which are pay sites if you want more tutorial movies. But between these and the book, you should be good for this class. Um, and we'll just get started with an intro tutorial. I'll try to keep these to about 10 minutes or maybe a little bit less. And I'll post this first one and then probably do another one for you this week also if it's not already up. But when you first open up Dreamweaver, you want to go ahead and run Dreamweaver. You probably get this intro screen right here pop up. Now again, the version of Dreamweaver that I'm using, you can see right here, CS6. If you have a CS5 or 5.5, you'll be fine. That's probably been a couple years since CS5 came out. There are some new features in CS6. You'll see some of them over here, like this fluid grid layouts. Some of these videos are pretty cool to watch here. So the fluid grid layouts is a really neat feature that allows you to do a site that's going to look good on any platform. That would be from a iPhone all the way up to a 20-inch PC monitor. So there are some new features in Dreamweaver 6 that you would get that you wouldn't in the others. As far as downloading the trial version, you can do that at adobe.com. That'll get you 30 days, I think, on that. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started. Now, I've got a lot of files going here that you won't have right now because this is the program I use to develop websites. So when you first open this up, you're going to see a welcome screen. You can use this screen or you don't have to. It doesn't really matter. For the purpose of demonstration, I'm going to click Create New HTML. Now, Dreamweaver, of course, is more than just HTML, although that's its primary function, but it does allow you to do some scripting, PHP, work directly with CSS files. We will be doing that with CSS and JavaScript and full sites and templates and all of that good stuff. But we got to start with the basics, so let's just open up an HTML file. Okay, what if you don't have that screen? Well, if you don't have that screen, you can always go up to File and New. So you would do File New. Okay, and then let me move this over here. This is going to give you the new document screen. Now there's a lot of options here, some of which are really cool that I use. Some are overly complicated, too much code that you don't want to use. Some are outdated, like tables, things like that. But they do have some of these layouts in here which are actually pretty handy. They give you some CSS layouts. Now what we'll do here, if you haven't already opened up your document, you would do HTML, no layout, because we want to start from scratch, and then you click Create. Okay, I'll click Cancel because I've already got this open. Now in this video I'd like to just take a look at Dreamweaver, just kind of give you an introduction to the interface, what you're looking at. And then on the other demos that'll be coming, then we'll start in on actually creating the sites. And this demo, I'll probably go ahead and open up a site for you so you can kind of see what one of them looks like here. I've got a lot of different files open. Okay, so what you're looking at here is the WYSIWYG part of Dreamweaver. It's what you see is what you get, and it's on Design. Now, if your screen doesn't look like this, the first thing that I want you to do is go up to Window, all the way to the bottom or towards the bottom where it says Workspace Layout, and choose your design. Now if you want to experiment with these, I'm not going to take you through every single one, but experiment with them and pick the one that you like the best. I'm just going with Designer. I think that's the default one. There's also a Classic, which arranges it like the older versions. And if you're more into actually doing the code, the markup language yourself, there are some ones for that too. And dual screen if you have that kind of stuff going on. But we're just going to use Designer, so you click Designer and that's going to set it there. Now my screen is probably a little bit smaller than yours because of capturing this in a program called Camtasia. You can also drag these around if you want to get your own custom layout. If you want to move this over a little bit, you can also drag around these panels here if you want. So I'm just going to leave them docked the way they are. Okay, and if you look here at the top, we'll look at the main features again, things you're going to use most often. This is going to be your actual document window. So this is the HTML file. Split right here Gives you the code on the left side, design on the right, and then code. This is the one I use a lot. Just gives you the straight code. So usually I alternate between code and design. A lot of times, I'll type something in myself, or I'll need to click on a certain spot in the code, and then I'll go back to design. Live view will actually show you like a live view, kind of like what a browser would look like. It's not the greatest. You don't really want to rely on it. You want to test your pages in a browser like Firefox or Internet Explorer. Okay, so we've got our design view. That's our main document window. You can experiment with some of these yourself also. The window size comes in very handy. Now, I'm not going to do anything with the window size because I got to make sure I capture exactly in the right size for YouTube high definition. But what you guys can kind of take from this, it gives you some different sizes. Here's 1024 by 768 maximized. 1000 by 620 is the actual visible area for that. So how do you get those numbers? Well, the 1024 by 768, that's your kind of your baseline standard for the size of a browser, a screen. The size of the screen on a computer. That's the resolution, 1024 dots, pixels wide by 768 high. Now the browser has something that is referred to as the Chrome, not the actual Google Chrome browser. But that's the back and the forward buttons and the URL and the little thing at the bottom. That means that it leaves you 1000 pixels by 620 for your design. You can go larger if you want, and if you do that flexible layout, it doesn't really rely on sizes. What I do a lot of times is just design for the 1024 by 768, but I center my designs and I make them so that they float on the middle of the screen, and then they look good in different size monitors. That's what I've done for mine. Okay, and then you'll also see a few other things like percentage display, and here's a tag down here that'll actually flip you to the different tags as you put them into the code. Here's the properties panel. Very handy. You'll be using that all the time. It does split it between HTML and CSS, which will come in handy when you start designing. And then you've got CSS panel up here. So think about top right is going to be your CSS panel for your CSS styles, and if you use any of that AP stuff, the absolute positioning. And then you'll have a properties that goes with the CSS right here. Okay, and then you'll have your files. Your files right here, and this also sort of doubles as the FTP. This button is really handy right here, expand to show local and remote sites. If you hit that button, that's going to take you here. I'm going to get this smaller so you can see it. It's like a little FTP program, so you can connect, transfer your files. This would be your server. I'll show you that in a minute. If you want to go back, just take it back to where it was, hit that button again. It takes you right back there. Okay, let's go through some of the menu at the top here. Actually, this would be a good stopping place for switching to part 2 of this tutorial 1. So this is, again, the very first tutorial where I want to get you started on the interface and what you're looking at with the program. And this is part 1. And then the second part is I'll finish up with these at the top and kind of show you a little more about what the interface does and everything. Okay, so that's it for this first video.